Hey, pussy, are you still there?
I actually admire that you can actually be this fake. And like when the TV comes on, how you can just change. You're the scum of the earth.
You don't doubt me, I couldn't do it. The odds that I couldn't do it. Look at me now. Lebanon, calm down. Headshot, dead. That's it.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Over the Octagon with your host, Evan and Nick. And today we have a very special guest, Mr. Marvin Eastman, one of the OGs in the MMA world. For those who don't know, you better find out. Marvin, how are you, sir?
I'm good, brother. Good to be here, man.
Yeah,
good to
thank
be
you
here.
so much for accepting our invitation and coming on and chopping it up with us.
Most
You know,
definitely.
like I kind of said before we started, you know, me and him have been watching this sport and been fans of this sport for a very long time, majority of our lives. And
Right.
yeah, so we just want to try to have interactions and have people come on that, you know, we've been fans of and have watched fight. So to have you on is awesome for us, man. It's absolutely incredible. So I appreciate it. Absolutely.
Most definitely, man. Pleasure to be in. Rap
Awesome,
with you
man.
guys.
Yes,
Most
sir.
definitely.
We've been following your career for quite some time, man. I've known your name since I was like 12 years old, and always been a huge fan. You have quite the fucking resume, man. You fought a lot of beasts, and when we looked at your record instantly, I remember this fight. I didn't know it was your first fight though. It says your first fight was with Quentin Rampage Jackson.
Yeah.
Is that your first professional fight?
Yep. First pro MMA fight.
What a fight!
I've been kicking. I've been kickboxing, and I was doing that while I was working at the penitentiary. I was a CO for 25 years. So while I was doing that, I was training and fighting initially I started taking Muay Thai after I stopped playing football, because I really was a football player in high school and college, and I wrestled, and I didn't want to keep losing weight. I could have did the wrestling thing in college, but I ended up doing the football thing because I wrestled at 191s, but in college they didn't have 191s. They only had they had 91s, but then it went to 240, 250. And I was a tweener. Yeah. So then about 2 years in, they end up getting 220s. And then they made it 191s was 85. And then they went 220, and then they went to super heavyweight. So it kind of put me in the middle of that. And I was like, damn, then I ain't gonna do it now. It's too late. So I just kept playing football. So
yeah, you played in Las Vegas, right? You played college ball over there?
Yeah, I played at UNLV. I committed to University of Washington. It was either University of Washington, Penn State, or Fresno State.
Yeah.
And I committed to Washington, and then one of my buddies decided after he was going to go, he was like, man, let's go to Vegas. Let's go kick it and do this. So I already committed. All right, no problem. Take a free trip and kick it out there. And you know, lo and behold, you know, they sell you. They all the stuff they do in NIL, they did at that time. So hence I ended up in Vegas. And the crazy thing is that that was the worst mistake in the world, because that same year University of Washington won the national championship. So,
Stop playing with me, bro.
But then Vegas won the national championship in basketball. So, you know, it's a trade-off.
Yeah.
So I don't really care about the basketball, but, you know, they end up winning it. We didn't do anything for football. So
your campus was lit then.
Yeah, I know.
Well, and it's in Las Vegas. I mean, it's a pretty good environment, right?
Yeah, it allowed me to be close to home, but be not too close that I couldn't that they can just show up or anything, like I said. And I was able to get finish up my degree and stuff. The only bad thing is I blew out my ACL on national TV. So so it was devastating in front of my hometown. So and then I had to come back. I got back from an ACL in about 3 months, but I was like super just retarded, just going hard to try to get back, but
Yeah.
it affected the way I did stuff for the rest of my life,
Yeah.
but it's part of the game,
No
so,
doubt.
yeah.
Let me ask you this, because this brings up an interesting question. Well, first of all, do you still watch mixed martial arts? Are you still a fan kind of the UFC, of fighting? I know you own your own gym. So like what capacity are you kind of still plugged into that kind of stuff?
I got fighters there. I co-own the gym with one of my fighters. My guy that fights right now. We had a national championship freestyle team here in Vegas. And my middle kid and my oldest kid, we wrestled. They went everywhere. Wrestled Tulsa Nationals, Las Vegas Nationals, Reno Worlds, did all that stuff. We had a nice team. So when they went to high school, after it was all said and done, a lot of those guys got done and they didn't have anything else to do. And I was fighting and I started teaching too, because I knew eventually I was going to have an end out. So I invited most of those guys to go in and do their thing and try to learn the game. So when I was still fighting a little bit, but kind of on the tail end of getting out of both professions, I started coaching and teaching fighters and doing amateurs. So I had my guys run through amateurs all the way up like this. So it just kind of gave me an out after I was done fighting.
Right.
So I went ahead and just started coaching and teaching fighters, but I didn't have a gym because my gym originally was John Lewis. It was the first MMA gym here in Las Vegas. Well, he kind of got out the business, and basically what it ended up happening is the guy who took over kind of went away from doing traditional MMA. He just turned it into a boxing gym. So when it went boxing gym, a lot of the guys that I had fighting couldn't fight. So we became drifters, for about 5 years. I ended up going to Syndicate, and John Wood kind of allowed us to go there for a while. And then when I finally got an opportunity to open up my own gym with my fighter, that's what we did.
Right.
Okay.
So that's how that ended up coming through. But when you don't have connection, when you've been a fighter and you haven't made connection with this gym and that fight promotion and stuff like that, because you're actually a fighter, somebody else is doing it, makes it very difficult to try to get in. Because a lot of people, it's very hard to connect. Hey, put my fighter on, do this and that. It ain't just like, whatever. Now it's a monopoly, so it's very, very hard now. You got to have connection,
Yeah. So even from like a fan perspective, are you do you still pay attention to any of the fights, any of the kind of stuff?
Yeah, I do. But I'm not really a fan of how these guys are fighting now, because
Let's
for instance,
talk about it. Yep.
Yeah, you got us.
I can give you a prime example.
Yep.
I can turn around and show you my belt case. I got only organization that I didn't really do good in. It just had my I just had a something, because I'm working as a full-time officer with North Las Vegas Police Department. Well, when everybody else gets finished training, they get to go home and go to sleep. I had to go to work, and you're dealing with inmates and all this other kind of stuff, and dealing with the police stuff for 25 years. So
That's crazy.
you got a little cut on your eye, or you got a little swollen. You could be winning or win, but guess what? Somebody sees you. Oh, you got a cut on your face. Your eye is swollen. Guess what? Well, I just won. But when do you ever have a fight where you don't have any injuries? So I have to go back to work like that. You know what I'm saying? Dealing with inmates and having guns and all this other kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And I did that all the way through my fighting career, through every organization that I fought in. Well, guess what? When you fight in the UFC they throw you to the dogs. You look at my record. I didn't have no cream puffs. They threw me to the monsters. My first fight in there was a title eliminator. It's me and Vitor Belfort, Chuck, against Brando Couture, and it was eliminator to fight for the belt. So I mean, who else gets thrown right to go? Well, yeah, because I was winning. You know what I'm saying? So they never gave me no. And then I get out and I do something else and I come back. Well, guess what? The first thing they do is offer me pennies to fight against Rampage. We know Rampage talked about this. He said when he fought me, he made $3 million. Do you know how much I made? 50,000.
What the?
He made $3 million.
Are you kidding me?
He made go look at his last podcast. He said when the UFC bought the WFA, which we were both in the WFA, because that was my first world title in the WFA. I won that, knocked out Alex Stiebling. They paid me $50,000.
Jesus.
They paid him $3 million. So and then you know what I'm saying? So I didn't get they didn't give me no passes. Everything they threw at me was monsters, you know? So it's part of the game.
Right.
You know, I suck it up, you know, whatever. But I didn't cheat. I didn't do none of that kind of stuff, none of that garbage. Never, you know.
So
whatever.
Do you think it's different now? Like what you were starting to say, kind of how these guys fight now?
Because my point was this: when I fought in any other organization, when I fought for a title fight, it was 5-minute rounds. It was a championship stuff, and you knew you were fighting 5-minute rounds.
Yeah,
it's crazy that they make UFC does main event fights 5-minute rounds, and they're not for titles.
Right.
You understand?
Yeah.
That should be for titles only, not throwing somebody in a 5-minute round. And these dudes are beating each other up. And I love those guys. They like to fight, but they got to remember, I was 37 when I finally got out the UFC. I'm 54 now. Well, you got to remember, that wasn't that too long ago. And you got to remember, there's an end date. And some of those guys, if you talk to some of the fighters of old school, they talk like, hey, how you doing? And Adrian, where you at? You know, I mean, trying to figure out where. I mean, those little gloves ain't no joke, man. You know, you used to get in a bad situation and you start looking bad and they stop the fight. Now these guys, hanging out looking like the Elephant Man to win a fight, man. You know what I'm saying? Look at some of these guys. Look at I love Max Holloway, but he takes a lot of damage. That other dude, Ryan Ortega from California. Look at them guys. They look like they get beat up, man, to win. And it's good for the fans, but it's not good for you.
Right.
Volk did all that too, I think. Volkanovski is the one that fucked up both their faces, man. Yeah, it's not a good look.
Junior DeSantos, you see those guys, those dudes take beatings, bro. You know what I'm saying?
It makes me think of the you bring up Max Holloway, Brian Ortega, when they fought. I don't know if you remember, but when they fought, Max Holloway was trying to teach him how to block a 1-2 during the fight, because he was
absorbing
his whole face was scarred up, cuts everywhere, so swollen. I mean, he had no boxing skills at all, didn't know how to block anything, had no defense.
In boxing, you got a 10-ounce glove to help block punches. You got a 4-ounce glove in MMA. Now let me just give you a prime example. Okay. It doesn't take anything to get knocked out with a 4-ounce glove. Anybody can knock you out with a 4-ounce glove. You don't have to be a big puncher.
Yeah, I tell Nick that all the time. He better
You don't have to be a big puncher. You don't. And the thing about it is, those guys they taking that and they're worried about CTE, man. Trust me when I tell you, I can show you a plaque that I have when I was in the UFC with the guys with the 10 fighters with the best bodies and stuff like this. Yeah. If you look at the guys that I was in there and I was 37, and you look and I'm 54, see if those guys still look like they do.
Right.
See if they look the same way. I guarantee right now, I'm still 204 pounds. I can go right now, walk into the gym and bench press 400 pounds, because I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't put nothing on my arm. I never did none of that kind of stuff, but that's just, it's just is what it is. But trust me, dude, there's a date that's coming that you're going to be older, and you don't need to have on your phone to be able to record where you parked your car. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah, bro. Yes. Oh my God, that's so real, man. Thank you for saying
great.
that on the podcast.
It is great for the fans. But guess what? That Mickey Ward John Gotti fights. Oh man, eventually that stuff's gonna come back and get you, bro. You know?
Yeah.
Dead ass, man. And they give boxing gets all that attention. People come out like, can't talk as good as used to, but the UFC, you don't hear that much protection about it.
Right.
It
Yeah.
just hasn't been around as long. That's why. Like
No.
you're not seeing guys come out in their 50s like yourself, that and talk about it. It's something that it's kind of like let's not talk,
Yeah. Yeah.
boxing's a little bit different. Boxing's been at the top of the combat sports world for so long, right?
Yeah.
It's starting to kind of die off now for the mixed martial arts scene, in my opinion. But you had guys like Muhammad Ali that made if you remember when he made the walk to light the Olympic torch.
Yep.
I mean, he had to have somebody help him walk there.
Yeah.
Wild,
Right.
Most
I
definitely.
mean, and it's just a long, long career of getting punched in the head over
Yeah.
and over and over again.
Trust me.
It's real deal.
What good is all the money in the world if you can't manage it and you can't remember how to spend it? Man, I can tell you this. Before the stuff that happened at Baroni, I used to train with Baroni. I trained with Mark Coleman. I trained with
Damn.
Kevin Randleman. Matter of fact,
rest in peace.
I got my start in the I got initiated in this game with Chuck Liddell, Tito Ortiz, Eric Pele, Tony D'Souza. That was my initiation. You understand? That was how I got started in the game. When I tell you, some damn savages, that's what it's. I don't know who these guys are. I'm like, let's get out. Let's do what we got to do. But when I tell you, Baroni, before he got in trouble, he hit me up. He's like, "Hey, Marv, I want to become a corrections officer, man. Tell me what I need to do." And I was like, kind of giving him a heads up on what he needed to do. But I'm like, dude, I'm done. I'm getting a retirement pay. And now he's just starting his career. And then about a year later, he catches a case in Mexico, man. So I said, man, it's rough, because I got a pension already, dude. Nick, I've been paid I retired at 47, man, from my job, and they pay me. But if you don't make any money, you're stuck, dude. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm glad those fighters are doing that thing with the UFC, actually getting that money. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Yeah.
Big deal.
Man, you got to
go ahead. Go ahead, Nick.
I was a big fan of Phil Baroni, man. I hated hearing all that stuff. And I thought he was a solid dude. I didn't know him personally, but I loved his fighting style.
Yeah.
And
he's a good dude.
Yeah. And then Mark Coleman. Dude, you heard he's a hero, man. Have you heard the news recently?
Yeah. Yeah. And he's kind of having some health issues and stuff. That's the one thing, man. Only problem I've had is I blew out my knee and ACL and playing football at UNLV. So, degradation over multiple years, but I'll probably get some stem cell or something like that. But I still function. Everything just normal. All I did is just change it up. But I still lift weights. I squat, deadlift, do my stuff like that, and I train in the gym every day. But and I walk around at 205, 210. I'm still in my fight weight. You know what I'm saying? So
sick.
I'm very thankful.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well,
I'm not to nobody else, it's just me.
Yeah, well, it's something to think about. And the other thing I was thinking, we get we're online because we have to be, right, for this show and to try to grow this brand and everything. But a lot of the things that I've seen is there's a lot of people knocking a guy like Francis Ngannou, who now is signed to the PFL.
Please.
And here's what Francis is doing that to me is, unmatched. So any opponent that he fights in the PFL on an MMA event is getting $1 million, no matter what.
Yep.
Wow.
That's love. That's love.
That's in his contract.
Yep.
That's in his contract. So whatever he's getting paid, it doesn't whatever. But like if somebody's signing up to fight him and they're getting in the cage with him, they're getting a 7-figure payday.
That's lovely, dude. When I say my biggest paydays was 50,000, man, those dudes make those in bonuses, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you know, 50,000, 40, 30, 20, 15, 10, 5, 8,000. And you do that, but I have a pension, so I have something to live off of, so I'm not tripping. But I know if I had my choices would have been different had MMA been where it's at when I started. It's
For
not.
sure.
So somebody
For
has to
sure.
take the reins. But you got to remember, I mean, just like I always reference the Shawshank Redemption, the movie, I love it because
Yeah.
the dude said, you know, at 20, he thought this way, but it took him all the way to 60 years old to recognize that he's not the same person. But it took 40 years for him to get there, for him to understand it. When you're 20, you do this, I'm going to do this, I'll do this for the title
Yeah.
and all this kind of stuff. But 50 and 60 is coming, homie. And if you don't prepare, all that stuff means nothing. All that time, all that money. I can tell you this, and I ain't hating on nobody in the UFC, but the UFC doesn't market fighters. They market the UFC. They
Right.
market the UFC. You know what I'm saying? And their bottom dollar, the bottom line is the UFC has to make money for themselves. It's not about the
Yeah, it's a
fighter, it's about
business.
the brand. Yep, it's
Yep.
about the business. You know, so if you beat each other up and do what you got to do, we don't care because guess what? There's another John Jones. There's somebody else waiting there's another Conor McGregor waiting to replace you as soon as you're gone. Why you think it's a big deal when they go, oh, this many fighters got dropped. This many, because there's 50 other fighters waiting to get to join back up.
Yeah,
You
it's
know?
true. Yeah, absolutely. That's it. And this here's another. I'm gonna bring up another name that's kind of new in the combat world, not in MMA, but in boxing that a lot of people like to hate on, and it's the YouTuber Jake Paul. So here's the thing with Jake Paul. So Jake Paul, love him or hate him, you know, he plays this heel role to promote his fight. I get all that. I get how people promote fights and all that. People hate him. He wants to make a fighters union.
Yep.
Right? To have
Love it.
he wants he's been this has been going on for 2 years. He's been coming at Dana White specifically to give UFC fighters health care. Right? It may never happen, but like, you know, look, these guys, the only reason the UFC is $1 billion business is because of the people that you're paying 8-8 on a fight to get the shit kicked out of them, you know, and then go to work Monday morning. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, and because they have to.
Right.
And so like there are guys like that. You're all good. There are guys out there like that. Love them, hate them. Same thing with the point I brought up about Ngannou, right? That's obviously an issue that I think the majority of people want to keep their head in the sand about, right?
Yeah.
Instead of like, let's actually look at what the problems are that the fighters are facing. Let's figure out, like, you know, how
that costs money.
Right.
That costs money. Do you realize the ultimate, what is the main reason that a business functions? To make money.
Yep.
And guess what? I'm not hating, but think about it. Do you think McDonald's has businesses everywhere?
Yeah.
They don't care about the product. They just know that guess what? If 20 people stop eating there, 100 more people gonna pick it up and start eating it. So it doesn't really make a difference. So guess what? I don't care as long as I sell the brand, because if you got 500, 600 fighters, if you drop 10 or 15, there's 100 waiting in the wings to come and take his place. So you got the haves and the have-nots. You got very few people. If you out of the 600 people on the UFC's roster, I guarantee you probably got 15, 18, maybe, if that's getting pay-per-view points.
Yeah, just champions from what I understand.
Yep.
Just
Everybody else.
Champions.
Exactly. Now, what does it take to be able to get there? You know, you gotta be the top dog.
Right.
The one kid, this dude is bad, and to me, John is a bad dude. I love John Jones. He's a good dude. I ain't got nothing bad to say against him. But here's the catch: Demetrius is a savage,
bro.
Mighty Mouse is a savage. He's a savage. That dude is a savage. And to me, I ain't got nothing bad to say against John Jones. But here's the thing: Demetrius is wrecking, and he's a small guy, and he's ridiculous. And to me, he's the baddest around. That's my opinion.
I love that,
And
bro.
come on,
That's
$1 million.
That's
He's
a
supposed to
great
get
pull. That's a great pull.
$2 million for Xbox. Guess what? He couldn't get it because the brand can't do that. So he goes somewhere else, and he's still killing people.
Yeah.
Man, clean record, does all this stuff.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, he's the baddest to me.
Right.
Best. Ifs and no ifs, ands, and buts about it.
Does everything the right way. Never heard his name in a negative light about anything.
Yep. 100%.
And he's still, I've talked about it so much over the last week, but I love it so much. Like, he's been doing the jiu-jitsu competitions and the with the gi, and he won his division 155 pounds as a brown belt, and then he went to like the open weight. He went to and competed open weight brown belt.
Yep.
And beat a dude that was 6'3", 250 pounds.
That's fucking nuts.
And then lost, got second place in the open weight, and lost. We just talked about this. We just did an interview earlier, right before this, and we're just talking about it. But it's like, yeah, what an absolute savage to beat another jiu-jitsu brown belt that has a foot and 120 pounds on you. You know?
Why in the world wouldn't you promote somebody like that?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you promote that dude? He could have been an international star, but you promote who you like.
Right.
If you don't like them, if they don't agree or fit your palate, then guess what? You know what they do? Oh, go over here. Come on. You mean you traded this guy? It's ridiculous. You should have highlighted him. You should have made him a superstar. He should be a superstar.
Yeah.
If no ifs, ands, and buts about it. And if you're in the MMA community, you know who he is. But the world should really know who he is because he's that damn good. You know, He represented 100%, no ifs, ands, and buts about it. But I wanted to give you a prime example about how. Think about this. I love Jamal Hill, right? I like him.
Yeah,
He's
like Jamal
I love him.
Cool.
But if you think about the fight that he's got coming up, if you look and the fighters, okay, for instance, okay, and I'm just bringing it to your attention. You got 4-ounce gloves on.
Yep.
They don't protect you. Yep. The next time you look at Alex Pereira's last 2 times that he's been punched in the face, look at where his hands are. Every time that he's been dropped, they don't protect their face, they protect their chest. And he's been cracked in the face and dropped because his hands, because they don't bring their hands up and fight here. You have no glove. They fight like this. Watch. The next time you look at it, boxers have their hands high and they got 10-ounce gloves, but MMA fighters fight like this. And you got less protection. Doesn't take that much. I train my fighters to punch from their eyes. The punch goes out, the punch comes back. You protect your face with your arms and stuff like this. But when you don't have a glove, that's only entertainment for the fans. People make fun of Mayweather, but Mayweather, he didn't take any damage, and he's 50 old because now he realized, now I'm 50 or whatever age you are, I got to be able to spend that money. Nobody's going to care about you after you're old. And he was a great fighter, but guess what? He can't remember where he parked. Yeah, big deal. I'm not a fan of the way some of these guys. I don't train my guys like that. My hands, they defend. Yes, sir, 100%. No ifs, ands. At least even the block head kicks, man. That's just me. That's what I do from my gym.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm sorry I talk a lot, but
Nah, that's what you're here for. That's why we got you here, to talk to you and you to talk to us. So don't even worry about it.
Right.
Definitely, man. So I got a couple questions for you, man. First off, man, I'm so jacked you're here right now. It means a lot. Again, I can't express that. But who was your favorite person that pushed you the most during training? Was there any big names that you trained with side by side along your career that you really just got along with, have a good relationship still with today?
Well, like I said, I started out in the game, Tito and Chuck. That was who I started out with, and when we were all the same weight, training the same, and my former manager was best friends with Chuck. So initially, the Petito brothers wanted me to come into UFC really, really early, but I didn't fight in an organization because Chuck and John Lewis were best friends. So he was managing me, and it's kind of crazy to have your best friend fight somebody that you're managing. So they kept me out of that organization. So, but I helped Chuck prepare. Matter of fact, when Chuck fought Kevin Randleman, the training partner was me for the 6 weeks to prepare him for Randleman because we were similar body types. Similar.
wow.
Everything was similar. So he used me when he went to go fight in Pride. And he fought over there. I trained with him. You know what I'm saying? When Tito had the belt, we would all go up to Big Bear and help him train. Me, Tito, Chuck, all of us helping him train. So all of us trained together for multiple years. But
wow.
I one of my favorite, really, I love Coleman and Randleman. There was man, I miss that guy, and I'm sorry that Mark is having the issues that he has. He's a good dude, but I miss Kevin though. Miss him big time. He was the best.
Yeah,
big,
man.
Great,
You guys definitely had a similar body, like whole entire like demeanor and fit. Like you guys were both the jacked MMA fighters during that time. But Mark Coleman apparently he's doing a lot better for what I've seen lately. He's completely turned a new cheek, and he saved his parents from a burning house a couple months ago.
Yeah.
That's
most definitely.
Amazing, man. He's a hero for that, man.
Good dude.
Imagine you, Tito, Chuck, Kevin Randleman, Mark Coleman, all in one training session together. That's just insane.
Yeah.
And I'd love to be a fly on the wall in that gym.
Hey, trust me, the way those guys train at AKC down there in San Jose, that's how we trained all the time. They would think we was like, man, what the hell? You guys is going to war, but that's how we train, bro. I can you promise that I was training with Tito for a fight that I had in against Travis Luter, right?
Yeah.
Not Travis Luter, the jiu-jitsu guy. We fought in Atlantic City. We were all trained together. Make a long story short, all of us was training, and Tito was supposed to fight Guy Metzger. Well, Guy Metzger fell out.
Lions Den.
Because of the heart thing. Well, guess what they did? The UFC pitched me fighting Tito. I said, man, we've been training together. We can't do that. So they find somebody else. And I wouldn't do that anyway because we was training together. Yeah. Well, we used to do this drill called a 21 where you go for 7 minutes, you go with a different person for 7 minutes, full out, right? Oof. So everybody, it's a 21 and you do it three times. Yep. You're in the cage. One person's wrestling them. Then you box. Then you do jiu-jitsu, then you kickbox, and each one, 7 minutes, you're doing a different thing. I'd have been doing that, and they just get guys. Makes long story short, one of the guys was supposed to take me down. He kneed me in the head and knocked me out. Okay? We didn't just say, okay, concussion, everything is done. You woke up and you start training again. Well, that's just what I did. Finished up. Then 2 days later, I'm doing takedowns with Tito Ortiz. So I'm taking him down. And Tito got pissed because I kept taking him down. And I still got it on video. So if anybody ever say it didn't happen, I got the video. So don't,
playing with
anyway. So
keep receipts.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Trust me. I wouldn't tell no lie about that. But anyway, I took him down about 3 or 4 times, and he got mad. And what he did is when I shot on him, he jumped guard. So what do you think happened? He kneed me in the face.
Right.
And it knocked me out again. It knocked me out, cold out. Now, I've been knocked out 2 times in 1 week. Now, I go to Atlantic City to fight, and it's supposed to be an easy fight. I'm supposed to beat Travis Luter up because he's a jiu-jitsu guy. Well, that's why the fight that you've seen, when he throws that punch and it barely looks like it hit me and I fell back, already had a concussion, but I didn't know it. And I was Nestle punch knocked out. I mean, but it barely touched me, Yeah. But when I tell you I had the worst luck in the world, just, then fought Rampage, and my buddy find out he has a brain tumor on his optic nerve. So they have to go in there and take it out. But if they cut it all away, he can't see. So That happened. Just, I mean, when I tell you and then the first fight when I fought Vitor, you won't believe it, but a week before I'm supposed to fight, I found out, the old lady is cheating.
Oh, fuck.
So, so you go into the fight knowing it, and the guy that cheating on you with is somebody you work with, your sergeant. So you know what I'm saying?
Bro, what
could you imagine? So when I tell you, nobody has worse luck than me. I think I only had one fight in the UFC where I didn't have bad luck. The last fight I got poked in the eye, that eye poke, and it tore my retina. So I had one fight that I actually was healthy, and that was against the dude from he was from I can't even think of his name. He was on my trading card. I can't remember his name. That was the only fight that I ever had in the UFC that didn't have something wrong. So, I just had the worst UFC luck, but any other organization I did good except the UFC. That's just, it
Terry
is what
Martin.
it is. That was UFC. Yeah. Terry Martin. Yep. That was the only fight that I had no issues. Every other one, it was something going wrong, So,
Man, it'd be like that. And for me as well. So I'm in your boat, bro.
Yeah, I got you. No excuses. You just take it like a man and go from there, But
Yeah. Talk to us a little bit. And I know we spent a good amount of time, so I don't want to take up too much more of your time, but
got you.
You got this gym now, right? And are you doing this pretty much full time? You're in the gym every day, you said?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, because we've had a few coaches on the podcast. We actually just did an interview and a video with a coach from a Muay Thai gym in New England. He has a 13-year-old fighter that's fighting in the USA Muay Thai Nationals this weekend.
Yeah.
And it's just I love kind of like you've been talking about teaching people the right way, right? And how to defend themselves and to do this, like be able to have longevity in this and not get themselves destroyed. What's like the best part about spending the time in the gym for you with, these younger fighters, other guys, pro guy, whatever the case may be? I mean, what's the best part of kind of that experience?
Well, the biggest thing is nobody can learn unless they buy into what you're selling. My Muay Thai teacher, they were from Thailand. They taught us, they spoke to us in Thai, so we had to learn in Thai. It's not an American version of Muay Thai. It was from Thailand, 100% the same way they spoke to us in Thai. Everything that I've done. Matter of fact, they don't have really a belt system in Muay Thai, but the World Muay Thai Federation is certified by the Thai government, and I actually got my crew status, which is right below master. It's the instructor. Took me 8 weeks to do it, so I'm certified. So I teach 100% traditional, 100% Muay Thai, 16 elbows, 6 ways the knee, the tripping, everything that you do, the clinching. But it took me a long time to get there. Make a long story short, I teach it the way I was taught, not my version. It's the way I was taught. Right. And the guys, if they have to trust you. If they don't buy in, if they won't trust you if they don't buy into what you're selling. You have to show them, because the way that they learn is by it being able to work when it's done. But somebody does something, just like, for instance, I can tell you this. You see how people getting calf kicked? You can never calf kick a real Thai person, because our feet are never flat on the ground. But that's an American version of something, but you could never calf kick a Thai person. Anybody that learns traditional, because our feet don't stay flat. That's, to me, I think it's the stupidest thing in the world. If your feet are on the ground and you getting calf kicked, it's because your feet are flat. If you look at the Thai fight, their feet are going up and down like pistons. So how could my feet have to be flat on the ground for you to kick me? So, but it's a fad, and it works if you stand there flat. But if you look one time, now in Thailand, they sweep, they do trips, but you'll never see, that's not a Thai move. That's an American made thing, but whatever, it works, so people keep doing it,
Yeah.
So, but I said, you just have to buy into what the person's selling, and for me, I'm a big advocate of protecting your head,
Yep.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's an important message too, We don't want we
For
don't want people getting into this and then like you've been talking about this whole time. I mean, you want to be able to enjoy your life later on, not be able to remember where
Yeah.
you parked your car and
Yep.
etc.
Yeah. Those fights like Mickey Ward, Gotti, everybody enjoys that, but trust me, the fighter is the one that's got to worry about that. Oh, that was a great fight, but guess what? Now,
Yeah.
who's going to be there with that fighter to help him cook his food, or remember what time he's supposed to go to work in the morning or whatever? It's good. So you. Sorry,
You're
drop
good.
my
All
phone.
good.
Sorry, man. I'm
You good?
retarded. Yeah,
Me
I'm
too.
sorry, man. I apologize.
All good.
But
Me too.
you just got to be in a situation where. So I love what Jake Paul and those guys are doing, because it has to be an end. It has to be an end date. And if there's no money left for it in there, what are you doing this for? Yeah, you're supposed to enjoy it, but nobody would do this just to do the sport. If there was no money, it wouldn't be the market wouldn't be there.
Of course, yeah. Of course.
So that's all I'm saying. You just you got to make sure you protect yourself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Love that, man. Well, Marvin, thank you so much, man. And honestly, a lot of our interviews are pretty fun, but this one has been like probably one of my favorite ones ever, man. I like talking to you about the sport. I haven't heard this side of it, and no one's been as brutally honest with it either. And man, I would love to have you back on here, and then we can
Most definitely,
and we could break down fights together.
Most definitely,
because you're inside on it the way you think that. I learned a lot from this 30-minute conversation with you, man. Imagine us breaking down a fight square by square with you. That'd be awesome.
Hey, you guys got my link. You can get at me anytime, and if you need me, like I said, I can give you my personal number. I'll do it. I'll text it to you if you need it. You can get at me anytime, man. Like I said, I appreciate it. Like I said, my objective is to make sure that the guys have longevity, because it's good to to be in entertainment, but why would I do my job for 25 years if I didn't have a retirement? And a lot of those guys are doing this stuff, and if you don't make some money and you don't be able to sit it away, then guess what? As soon as you lose 2 or 3 fights in the UFC, have a nice day.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.